Hi, I'm Viviana, your Darwinian diva, and I'm so excited to tell you a little bit about myself and about this project that I call Darwinian Diva. So, I'm an evolutionary psychologist. I teach at Oakland University in the Department of Psychology. I received my PhD in 2011 in experimental and evolutionary psychology from Florida Atlantic University. I was introduced to the area of evolutionary psychology in 1997, and it was love at first sight. It offered a theoretical lens for me to use and think about human behaviors. So, an evolutionary psychologist, what they do is use behaviors, right? Psychologists in general look at behaviors, right, as a window into the brain, right? The mechanisms that make up the brain. And so, what's different with an evolutionary psychologist is that the assumption is that these mechanisms that we are tapping into when we examine behaviors are a product of evolution by natural selection. So using this evolutionary perspective provides a framework, right, to ask questions and to guide research on topics such as romantic relationships, homicide, stalking, parent-child relationships, conflict in those parent-child relationships. The list goes on, including things like art appreciation, literature appreciation, economics. Okay. So what I'm hoping with this project is to bring you on board with me, right, using my evolutionary lens. So you'll use this lens through me to talk about, to think about, to discuss topics that hopefully you'll also contribute to ideas for topics that you would like to discuss. But some of the topics I will choose, right? And so but you'll be thinking about these topics and through my lens. Okay. So if you're interested in these kinds of things, if you're curious, if you can admit that you've got much more to learn, and if you like an intellectual challenge every once in a while, then I think that you'll enjoy this project and we can enjoy it together. So thank you for listening, and please watch and listen to the next clip where my husband and my colleague Todd Shackelford asks some directed questions about Darwinian Diva and what some of the goals are. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye. Okay, thanks for joining us today at Darwinian Diva. Rather than jumping in and starting podcasts, I thought it might be fun for me to introduce myself and to tell you a little bit about this endeavor that I'm exploring. And with me today is my spouse, my colleague, my best friend, Todd Shackelford. By the way, I'm Viviana Week Shackelford. I'm the Darwinian Diva. And he's here today really to ask me some questions about the project. And the goal is to, share this with you, share our conversation about this project. We haven't rehearsed it, so this is going to be, improvisation here as we go. But so thank you for agreeing to do this with me. We don't have questions prepared, but what would you like to ask me in the hopes that I can share a little bit more about the project with our viewers?
Okay, thanks for having me. Very happy to be involved. I think this is a really interesting idea. And I think it might be useful to hear a little bit more about sort of your take on what it is you hope to be doing with Darwinian Diva.
Well, the project really has been something, and this, I've been talking about for quite some time. And I think even in that period of time, over the last couple of years, it really, has changed, I think. I'd say the primary goal is really to share some of what I have gotten out of science and evolutionary psychology, and how it has impacted my views of women's issues, really life in general, but I'd like this platform to focus mostly on women's issues. And, I realize that that's a loaded term because many things, hinge on women's issues. But really that's the primary goal or several goals there of the project.
Okay, so can anyone sort of, I mean, who's the target audience, do you think? I mean, who are the people that you want to reach?
Well, what I'm hoping with this project is to reach a wide range of audience members and viewers and listeners. I have found I'm not an expert in listening to podcasts, but I kind of feel like a lot of podcasts focus, they have niche viewers, niche audiences, and what I'm hoping is that with this approach, thinking about science broadly and wanting to expose not just other academics or heavy science people. I want to expose these ideas and these views to people outside of academia. Okay, people that might have questions about a particular topic that don't know where to begin or don't have the time to find out where to begin. Yeah, I'd like it to be for a large set of viewers. Yeah, really. I don't know if that.
No, I think that makes sense. So your plan then will be to be talking with people who are either doing research in the area, or maybe they're out working as lawyers or physicians, and just sort of approaching, in a way, the general public.
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's who I'd like my viewers to be, the general public. I don't want it to focus on one particular, again, set of viewers or audience members. I think, and we are both academics, but I think that we also have, a lot to learn about what's happening outside of our world. And I think that can be valuable to us as academics and also as people, to learn from other areas and other people who may not be, experts in, a particular topic, to share those experiences and their knowledge. Yeah, so my goal is to interview, or not interview, but really have conversations with, professionals in particular areas. So that includes academics with, particular emphasis on, research. And then I would also like to include other disciplines as well. So as you mentioned, physicians, lawyers, house moms, house dads. And I actually would like to also include, maybe older teenage, individuals as well. I think that, we have a lot to learn from our young people as well.
Good. So would you say that your podcast that you have in mind, that you want it to be relatively free of a political bias one way or another? Or is this something that, you want to come at it from a particular political perspective, or you're sort of interested in not constraining things by political sort of perspectives on particular issues?
Right, so just as my plan is to include, other disciplines within a specific topic. So let's say we're talking about, jealousy, for example. It would be fun to talk to physicians or clinical individuals who, experience, people coming in or, complaining about physical abuse or violence. And on that same topic, it's also nice to talk to, and not nice, but just informative, and I think a better rounded approach, to also talk to perhaps an academic that does, the actual research behind some of that behavior or psychology there. So the goal is to come at topics from different areas, so that if you're not an academic, you can still learn about, jealousy, for example, in different terms, hearing it from physicians, from maybe victims or perpetrators for that matter, from different areas. In regards to politics, I think my goal is to really come at different topics from different perspectives, including different political, backgrounds. with that said, to some extent, I feel, the more we know, the more we talk, we might be able to better solve, problems and issues that might come up, while on this exploration here. With that said, however, I would like to have some sort of, guidelines or, tasteful conversation, not, not limiting it, right? Trying not to limit, and I know that's gonna be a fine line and I'll learn as I go, but yeah, I would like, no topic to be taboo. And I just hope that my viewers will be as flexible and, open-minded with some constraints, as we do this.
Good. So it sounds like you're quite open to shifting the focus or, experimenting with different sorts of styles of approach. And so would you say that you would encourage people to contact you with comments and suggestions and ideas?
I would absolutely encourage it. In fact, I want people to. I need people to comment. I need people to ask me questions. I need people to ask people that I have conversations with questions, so that I know what the viewers are wanting. What sort of, how I'm helping, how I can better help, what I can do better, what you don't ever want to see again or hear about again, those kinds of things. So yeah, I'd like to keep it informal yet tasteful, yet, I want it to be sort of a group project. I'm doing this with you and you.